Good evening. Hey, I just thought I'd do a quick catch up. Do it live because I can't be bothered typing this hour of the night. I'm not here. Um, I met with the Opposition Tourism Minister today. It's Joseph Mooney. He's also the MP for Southland National. We actually had a really good meeting. He accepted the petition of 10,700 signatures that we presented on behalf of Jenny Rika. He agrees with us that the focus needs to be on more facilities, and agrees with a number of other points we discussed. We had discussions around issues around the representative that the government's appointed to represent freedom campers and how they're actually not fit to do the job. We've had discussions around other things, the fact that the government's refusing to actually amend Section 32 of the Summary Offences Act. So a defence to public declaration is going to remain available freely to everybody, and it's actually going to really undermine this whole stupid, absurd bill that they're trying to rush through Parliament at the moment. There's no point insisting on fitting toilets and everything else to address a perceived problem if you're not going to address the legislation that actually gives a defence to any member of the public, a legal defence in legislation that says if you, as long as you believe that no one's going to see you doing the deed, then essentially you can't be charged for it. This government is so absurd that it's beyond a joke. I can't think of anyone who would poop in front of others intentionally. It just makes no sense at all. But then you do, and the rare occasion that you could not actually establish that defence, the fine for pooping in public is $200. The fine for not having a fitted toilet is $400. And that applies even if you have a camp toilet which you actually use. Logical? No. Absurdity at its best. So we've had some really good discussions. I think we're really on the same wavelengths. The special audits papers, which the current tourism minister, who failed to even reply to our emails requesting a meeting so we could hand in the petition. Yeah. I'm at a loss, really. One thing that's happening, in which the deadline is for tomorrow, we've actually got an official information application in on the Prime Minister, Chris Hipkins, Chippy, if you like. And part of the application, we actually ask him why the Labor Party is refusing to look at a program which was developed by a number of stakeholders, including the fire service, some councils, definitely dock staff. So it's been developed by a whole range of different stakeholders in favour of a program which has been developed by an RV club 50 years ago. It's had no substantial changes, and the government's solely looking at using that sort of to address issues of public defecation, which, as I said, is going to fail anyway. So we're at a loss really to know what to do. Labor are committed to pushing it through. I believe National are all pretty much on our side. They agree with what we're saying. They understand how absurd the whole thing is. We had discussions also around the cost of providing roadside toilets on NZTA, or LTNZ and LINZ land at the moment. And we've gone into quite a few details about that and how much the $27 million, which has been provided to date through the tourism infrastructure funding, would actually go towards providing public toilets along state highways. And for those that aren't aware of that, we actually determined that the $27 million would actually provide for a public toilet every 12 kilometres for the whole length of State Highway 1. And the specifics of that whole criteria is that the land is owned by the government and that there is no permits or resource consents required to actually install those toilets. Now, whether that's actually a requirement at the moment, I'm unsure, but it certainly should not be a requirement on a government department when it comes to providing facilities for the travelling public of New Zealand. The toilets themselves, for those of you who are familiar at Tangawai, where the train crash was at New Year's Eve some years ago, they've recently installed ones there, and the other one that I am aware of is Mangatanoka opposite the Tiri Brewery. So these are actually what they call is a dual toilet. They're a dry vault system, so they're standalone. They need no connection to sewage mains or to water. They are self-sustaining. And a supply of those toilets, so that's a dual toilet cubicle. So the supply of those toilets is confident that at an average price of $150,000, they could be supplied and installed to any location around New Zealand, short of the real black blocks. So certainly main state highways and stuff, we're certainly not intending that they will be installed every 12 kilometres along State Highway 1, but that was just done as a visual of what can be achieved with that sort of money. The cost of bureaucracy normally would probably put a stifle on that, but it is actually something that the government needs to address, is the price of bureaucracy when it comes to it, as opposed to actually providing real facilities for the travelling public of New Zealand. Yeah, so that's it. I had a really eventful afternoon. I think it was really, really good. I have been waiting for some photos to be emailed through to me, but they haven't actually come yet. There wasn't a media presence really at Parliament at all today. Unknown to me, they don't actually. I thought media were pretty much hanging around Parliament every day of the week, but they don't. So there wasn't really a media presence there. But that's cool. We've got the message out. We've had a few interviews today. Radio New Zealand at 5:15 this morning. We've got a mention in Otago Daily Times. There's probably be a few more mentions during the week as media catch up with what's happened and what's gone down at Parliament today. I may look tomorrow at doing another update once we hear back from Chippy, the official information stuff. There's a number of issues that have actually been raised with him as Prime Minister, and issues that actually really need to be considered and they actually need to be answered. NZMCA, and we have unfortunately become very aware of this recently this year, have been very much slandering us as an organisation behind our backs. The public outrage that they expressed against our calls for the government to strengthen the defence criteria for public defecation last year basically was a tip of an iceberg that actually led to a lot of stuff. We've actually had some inside information given to us from inside the Responsible Camping Working Group. That's been really given to me confidential. I won't say much about it. It's sort of really highlighted to me the sort of stuff that's been going on. We do know what's public, the threats by Queenstown Lakes District Council that are made and have actually been exposed by NZMCA. If the government did not amend legislation to acquire fitted toilets, NZMCA have exposed that. It makes very questionable the confidentiality of the working group, because that's where that's been shared from. And that information's also been shared with Joseph Mooney today. So he's actually aware also of that, so he may do some digging around that issue himself, if of course Chris Hipkins doesn't do it. because Chris Hipkins has also been made aware of it and asked what he's going to do with it, basically, as official information stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of work going on there. I'm pretty shattered. I went for a medical appointment yesterday and I came out with basically 6 more. So I'm not things. I've got to take it easy and I've got to stop stressing about freedom camping stuff. I want to keep the pressure on, make no mistake about that. The pressure needs to stay on, but I need to look at my own health as well, so part and parcel really. Anyway, that's an update for today. Real good stuff. Yeah, I mean, I'm really happy and confident that we've made an impact today, and that we'll continue to do so. So, it's night for me, and night from her, or girls. Alright.